Hello and welcome to the Bob Johnson bracket breakdown for the 2025 Section 3 Class C Girls Bracket. With NBC Watertown here, we have Connor LaLone, Tyler Clemons. Connor's been on the stream team all year long, bringing you live basketball action. So he's seen a lot of these teams here in Class C. We'll get right into the bracket and the matchups and who might be the team that ends up taking the championship home this year. Starting off in the 16-17 play-in game, you have Sequoia Valley at 7-10. They will host Poland at 4-16. They're the 17th seed. The first Frontier League team to make an appearance here in the Class C sectional bracket will be the 15 seed Beaver River Beavers at 6-12. They will host Fabius Pompey. They're the 18 seed at 6-13. So interesting matchup there for Beaver River. They just had a chance to cut down the nets and be a Frontier League champion. And then now they're in the 15 seed playing Fabius Pompey. That's a bad matchup for Fabius Pompey.
Yeah, Beaver River's a hot team. They're coming off a couple of big, wins towards the end of the season. Obviously came up just short against Sandy Creek in that Frontier League championship game, but knocking off TI to get there in the first place. Good team, a lot of talent, a lot better than that record would probably suggest. That would be a tough one to run into first matchup out for anybody, but especially for a Fabius Pompey
for a play-in
team.
game, right? I kind of expected Beaver River to kind of land somewhere in that 12 seed range there, and they ended up falling to 15, having to play the play-in game. But they get to host, so that's good for them as well. Typically at the higher seed, you don't get to host a game, so they get to at least host in the first round and play that 15-18 game. Moving on, 14 versus the 19 seed, we have Onondaga at 6-14. As the 14 seed, they will host Waterville at 3-16. So that's the play-in round here for the Class C girls bracket. Now moving into the second round, or I guess kind of the first round. You get the play-in games and then the first round here. The number one seed obviously is going to be Hamilton at 17-3. They will play the winner of the Sequoia Valley and Poland matchup. For 8 and 9 seeds, we have Frankfurt Schuyler at 7-12. As the 8 seed, they'll host Cato Meridian at 11 and 9 seed. They're the 11 and 9 of the year. They're the 9 seed. Another Frontier League team making an appearance in this bracket. Weedsport as the number 4 seed. They'll host the Frontier League. Alexandria, the Ghost, at 8-12. Alexandria coming in at the 13th seed at 8-12. That's a pretty decent year for them.
Yeah, Purple Ghosts. A couple of years ago, we saw them have a really good season. Bridget Watson was a force for them down low. She graduates, goes to JCC. Wasn't sure how they would cope with that loss, but ended up putting together a really pretty solid season at 8-12. And it'd be a tough one for them to go and knock off Weedsport on the road, but anything can happen.
Moving on there, Tully at the 5 seed. They are 13-6 on the year. They'll host Lafayette at 9-9. Cooperstown, well, they're just having a good basketball year, aren't they? The boys undefeated. The girls at the 2 seed at 16-4 in the year. They'll play the winner of that Beaver River and Fabius Pompey matchup. So Beaver River could potentially have a matchup, both boys and girls. They might be doing a double header at Cooperstown. Who knows? Just with the boys breakdown, we have that on social media as well. The boys, if they win their first game, they could be playing the number 1 seed Cooperstown here. So for the girls here, Beaver River potentially with a matchup with number 2 Cooperstown at 16-4. Frontier League matchup here, 7 seed Sandy Creek at 15-5. They will host Thousand Islands, the 10 seed at 14-6. So this is really intriguing to me. I love this matchup because the Vikings probably felt like they should have played this matchup in Watertown at JCC for a championship for the Frontier League. Thousand Islands now gets a chance to play them at Sandy Creek and have possibly, end their season, the Comet season.
Yeah, we saw a couple of big upsets there towards the end of the season leading into the Frontier League Championship. That was one of them, Beaver River, with that surprise win against TI. They end up sneaking into the Frontier League Championship, put up a really good fight against this Sandy Creek team. But like you said, it'll be really interesting to see how TI handles Sandy Creek and what could have been, maybe should have been, the Frontier League championship game. Two really good teams. TI has a couple of terrific basketball players, both Wiley girls. Mel and Tatum are both really, really talented guards. Sandy Creek, a lot of offensive weapons. Bailey Williams put on a show in that Frontier League championship game. Hit a couple of big threes when she needed to, got boards, got layups, and then hit free throws, which the rest of the team really struggled with. She did a great job up late in that game to kind of salt it away against Beaver River. Be a really interesting battle in that one.
Yeah, so that Sandy Creek Thousand Islands matchup is going to be tonight, actually, at 7:30. So this is kind of we talked about in other videos. We'll talk about it here a little bit as well. Just a weird year kind of with that meeting being a little bit postponed. The seedings just coming out on Thursday morning, and then teams now have to play a winner-go-home game on Friday, less than 24 hours, really, after they figure out who they're going to play. So just a kind of odd year this year. Typically, you have at least a day or two to watch some film, run a couple practices, and get ready to play. And this season, unless you're the Class D girls, it's go time right out the gate, really. Or unless you have a first round bye, you know. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be one that we're going to watch out for here at NBC Watertown. The rest of the games don't really feature any Frontier League matchups. We have West Canada Valley at 14-6 at the 3 seed. They'll play the winner of Onondaga and Waterville, and then Dolgeville and Port Byron will be the 6 and 11 seeds. Dolgeville obviously hosting there the 8-11 record. So intriguing here at Class C. There's a lot of talent. So I like Thousand Islands to make some noise. If I'm Cooperstown, this is not a good bracket for me. Because you get, presumably if you were to win their first game between Beaver River or Fabius Pompey, you're going to move further down the line. And even before you get to the semis, you got to face a really tough team in either Thousand Islands or Sandy Creek. Nothing against Sandy Creek. They're the Frontier League champions. Yeah. They're a fantastic team. But I like Thousand Islands' chances in that game. They've had some time to prepare. The possibility of this matchup, they're well rested now. They've had a chance to kind of go over the game film, see what went wrong against Beaver River. I think Thousand Islands is going to be out there looking for vengeance.
Yeah, I think there's a chip on the shoulder of those TI players and Coach Goss, and they obviously feel like they probably should have done better in that game against Beaver River where they lost in the league semifinals. I think they're going to come out feeling like they have something to prove that they're a better team than that, and they certainly have the ability to do that. Like I mentioned, both Wiley girls, they have a lot of size down low too, which is maybe a little unusual for Class C. Julia Parator, Kenyon Starant, both of those players are really tall. I mean, a lot of height for a Class C girls team. So they have all the tools, all the weapons to be able to make a pretty deep run and make some noise against a really good Cooperstown team.
Yeah, we've seen them play really, really good games, Thousand Islands. We've seen them put all the pieces together, have commanding wins, but then we also get some head scratchers in there too, where they struggle against Lime, who's I think like 1-15 or something on the year, and then they lose to Beaver River to not even go to play for a Frontier League championship. So it kind of depends on what team you're going to get. But I just have a feeling that this 10 seed, it's one that people are going to look over. And Thousand Islands, I think, is going to have a really good, successful run here in the Class C championships. Anything you want to add here on this bracket?
No, not too much. I think we hit most of the high parts, especially with regards to the Frontier League teams. A lot of good teams here, obviously across the entire section. Teams that we just don't have the ability to cover, but. Look out for Hamilton. They're having a fantastic year. Cooperstown we've touched on as well. Always dangerous in Class C. Again, kind of universally across all the sports. It doesn't really matter. They always seem to put good programs together year after year. So a lot of respect to those teams a little bit further south than what we might cover as well.
Yeah, so that's going to be the wrap up here for the Class C Girls Section 3 bracket here for 2025. This has been the Bob Johnson's bracket breakdown here with NBC Watertown. And as always, please look up these matchups, go online, find these matchups, find the games that you want to go to, and please go to these games. Let's create a good environment. Go out and support these girls. They've worked hard all year long. They deserve some support here in the postseason play. Connor LaLone, Tyler Clemons here with NBC Watertown. This has been the Bob Johnson bracket breakdown.